So, as we continue with the whole recording process, you mentioned before about you got on a roll, and as you got on a roll, Dre got on a roll, and it started to just kind of bringing the best out of one another. There's been a certain chemistry that you guys have on records, and I want to kind of try to talk about that for a second before we go to the next song, and just, describe that.
Well, me and Dre, like when I first met Dre, being at Hungry MC and not having nobody to really craft my beats and make them like he does, you know what I mean? So it was almost like a kid in a candy store. When I first met Dre, it was like, holy shit, those beats are like candy, and I like every beat he comes up with, like I got something to go with that. You know what I mean? Like, I want to write to that beat. I want to write to that beat. It was almost like kind of being spoiled. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I want everything he makes because he's so creative with it that it just, I don't know what it is exactly, but for some reason, the way it's weird. It's like as soon as I hear a beat, it's almost like he kind of knows what I'm thinking. Like, I'll have something in my head, like an idea of where to go, and it'll just go there somehow. I can't really explain it. It's really hard to explain, but...
And it seems like when he's on records with you, whether it's his records or your records, he sounds like he's having more fun rapping than you usually hear him on other songs. And
well, it's just it's fun to get on a record together with Dre. You know, when we get on the same record, it's like I guess we want to have fun with it because his personality is kind of like, he's usually the more serious guy, and I'm usually the comedian. You know what I mean? So it's like it just ends up working. The chemistry that we have on a record together, or when he's just producing. I don't know what it is. I wish I knew, but
it works. People will be glad to know on this particular album, Dre basically did the entire thing.
He produced the whole thing. Yep. Yeah. There's one song, there's a record on there called Beautiful that I produced.
Never in your career, throughout all of your albums, has Dre produced more than 3 or 4 records on an album, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because Dre's real expensive.
Yeah. So it's got to feel crazy. And I think this is kind of like a hip-hop fan's like dream come true to basically Dr. Dre produced album with Eminem back on that shit. At what point was there a conscious decision like, you know what? You do that, I'm gonna concentrate on this?
Yeah, well, the first trip to Orlando, I believe the first song that I wrote as soon as we made the beat, I kind of told him like an idea of a beat I had. Like I need a beat that's kind of like, I forgot how I described it to him, but he ended up making it right there on the spot, and I was like, and it ended up becoming My Mom. That song. So that was the first one.
How perfect.
Yeah, I kept asking Dre, like, what do you think people want to hear from me? You know what I mean? When I come back. Because and his answer was the same every time I asked him. By the second or third time I asked him, I was like, you know what? He's right. And he was like, people want to hear you fucking bug out again. People want to hear you spaz out. They want to hear Shady again. And I was like, all right.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Now, we get to a record here called Hello. When I first heard it, the way the music sounded, it reminded me of like some, like, I don't know, it's like Dre came up with some, like he had just watched Enter the Dragon or something like that.
I don't know what the fuck Dre is on when he does these beats. Like, I don't know what kind of shit his mind is on. Like, because some of these beats are like fucking aliens made them. Let's say he made 10 beats in a day. Like the way, the process of this album, the way it was done, there's at least 4 of those 10 that I was picking and writing to, which is how we came up with 2 albums in literally, I think, 6-7 months.
How many songs did you record in total, do you think?
I don't know. Probably 3 albums worth, but we narrowed it down to 2 albums. Yeah.
So we were talking before about the chemistry with you and Dre, and we get to a song with you and Dre. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's a fun record. It's, it is what it is. It's, me and Dre just going back and forth and
kind of has like a little bit of a throwback, kind of club party vibe to it,
It just felt like, to me, when I heard the beat, it just felt like old times. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what we tried to make the record sound like was,
And that was like one of those things where you heard the beat and that kind of put you in the direction of the concept?
Yeah, I mean, usually when I hear a beat, it'll give me an idea right away. If it doesn't spark something, I kind of just go to the next beat. But those, that's another beat that was just like, oh, this feels like old times. Let me see what I can do to, capture this. So.